Greetings, another day, another workout. Let's do it. And then, and don't forget, we're starting with Craig Kursion because we have to get rid of all the people who don't really want to be here. You know what I'm saying? Craig Kursion, you got to be really committed to this video if you're going to sit through Craig Kursion. Yesterday's video. Making a little layered song of nonsense. Here go. Let's start the workout. Okay.
Up first is 30 seconds of body weight seated hip rotation.
Body weight seated hip rotation is a good one. Feels good. Okay. And ready, set. That'll do. We're making quite a song. Quite a song.
Start the next set.
Heel touch. Wait, is it? Oh, I gotta just do one heel. Okay. I'm supposed to be standing on a platform to do this. Oh well. So yeah, every video we start with Craig Kursion. Because why not?
10 seconds left.
I mean, I guess I can see why not. But you know, let's layer that, see what happens. Okay.
That's time. Up next is 30 seconds of heel touch. Right side.
Okay.
Start the next set.
Someone brought up that Animaniacs did come back. Yesterday I talked about kids shows. Animaniacs did come back to Netflix. They did like a new version of it, but it didn't go over that well. Probably. I think maybe it was just a product of its time.
10 seconds left.
I understand that. And someone who writes for, someone mentioned who's a screenwriter or writer of kids shows, lamenting how kids shows are, aside from great ones like Bluey, are just optimized to get attention and not quality. I mean, that's the problem with literally everything. That's just how it works. In order to make any money at anything, you need attention. And so you make decisions based on what's going to get attention.
Up next is 8 reps of dumbbell overhead press with 25 pounds in each hip.
That's a factor in the decision making of everything that you're going to do if you're trying to do anything for money, anything for a living. You have to sacrifice some of what you really want to do to appeal more broadly. I mean, you can take it too far and make it purely just an attention game with no quality whatsoever in what you're doing.
Dumbbell split squat with 25 pounds in each hand. Left side.
But it's a weird thing, because if there's truly no quality in what you're doing, why do people like it? Why does it get attention? But if you're marketing to kids, I think kids are more easily swayed towards things.
Start the next set. Up next is 8 reps of dumbbell split squat with 25 pounds in each hand. Right side.
I think
Start the next set.
this channel, what I'm doing here, there's a level of quality to it. I'm really not trying that hard for attention on this channel, and it's refreshing. The value in this channel, I think, or right now, not this channel, this thing I'm doing, this video series I'm doing is just
In 35
motivation.
seconds, do 8 reps of dumbbell overhead press with 25 pounds in each hand.
Free-form conversation, free-form unedited conversation that can be comforting in a sea of highly edited, curated, attention-driven, attention-motivated stuff. I'm offering an alternative, I guess, plus a motivation to work out. Many of you have said that this helps, and that makes me feel good.
It's time for 8 reps of dumbbell overhead press with 25
But it's
pounds
also
in each
refreshing to me to just do something, to communicate to a group of you without worry about optimizing anything. You know, I do worry about that on the main channel because
Up next is 8 reps of dumbbell split squat with 25 pounds.
I'm trying to appeal to a larger group,
Left side.
and it is my career. It's how I make money to live. So, 1, 2. But this is sort of my way of making fun of that idea, especially with Craig Kursion. Just free-form conversation with no specific topic. Very little effort put into a thumbnail or a title. Just me working out. Not even really talking about working out that much.
25 pounds.
I do talk about working out,
Right side.
but I'm not like a health guru because I don't really know anything.
Start the next
I'm not
set.
going to claim to know anything. Which I think is also nice to hear from a person online who doesn't have an argument, doesn't have an agenda, except, hey, let's hang out and work out. And you don't even have to work out or anything. Of course,
In
this
35 seconds, do 8 reps of dumbbell overhead press with 25 pounds in each hand.
this channel would have nobody here, I don't think, if I didn't have the other channel. If I didn't have years and years of building an audience. No one would be here. If I just started out of the blue with nothing else doing these videos, you wouldn't have found this.
It's time for 8 reps of dumbbell overhead press with 25 pounds in each hand.
But of course, I'd probably try harder. If this is the only thing I was doing, and I started from zero, this would be different. I wouldn't be doing Craig Kursion for one thing. I would be, man, more of this. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think I would, if I were starting from zero on this channel, I wouldn't be doing this. This wouldn't be the content I'd be making. I don't
Up
think.
next is 8 reps of dumbbell split squat with 25
Never
pounds
been
in each
interested in
left side.
making fitness content before I started doing this. And I don't think of myself as an expert, so I don't think I have a great deal to say on the topic except the psychological aspect that I experience. And that is what I talk about. But I don't think I'd start a channel like
Start the next set.
this if I started from zero. And if I did, it'd be more, there'd be more research involved, It'd be more deliberate. I'd be thinking about different topics, I'd probably want to learn a little more about muscles and health and
Start the next set.
convey different ideas about it. I'd probably be more like, all right, we can do this, guys, let's go. You can work out, let's go. This is just a casual hangout because you're already here. Think like, what if I started from zero
In 35 seconds, do 8 reps
on
of dumbbell overhead
the main
press
channel?
with 25
If I had
pounds
no
in each hand.
audience, if I had never made videos until this point in my life, how would I start? What would I do? Well, it would probably depend on what I did for a living the last 17 years.
It's time for 8 reps of dumbbell overhead press with 25 pounds in each hand.
Yeah, I already did it.
Up next is 8 reps
What?
of dumbbell split squat.
We're doing
with
this
25
again?
pounds in each hand. Left side.
Man, let's see. I guess so. We're just doing 1, 2. Is this the 4th time? Is this the 4th time, or did I accidentally do too many? I don't know. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Start the next set.
In general, just thinking in general terms, how would I start a YouTube channel today? Like, subject matter, I don't know. I think I'd think of YouTube differently now than I did back in 17
Up
years
next
ago.
is 8 reps of
It would be
dumbbell split squat with 25 pounds.
It's much more
in each
long form now.
hand. Right side. Start the next
You know, I think I'd do the same thing that I do now. I do the same thing I did to revive this channel, which is not necessarily specifically like quitting added sugar for a month, which is like went gangbusters and really revived the channel. But like longer form, 10 to 20 minutes on a topic, and work my ass off on it.
In 35 seconds, do 8 reps of dumbbell Romanian deadlift with 45 pounds.
I used to think of YouTube as like, what kind of series can I do on a regular basis? Every weekday, every 3 times a week, twice a week, or maybe even just once a week. What's a series, an ongoing series I can do? But that's not really how I think about it anymore. Oh, 45 pounds, okay. I'd probably try, I mean, I do think about it that way somewhat, but I think the best thing to do is probably
It's time for 8 reps of dumbbell Romanian deadlift with 45 pounds in each hand.
think about it like you're making a mini documentary every time. That seems to be the way things are now, too, unless you're listening to, there are channels that are like video podcasts, or there's a, ongoing interview series like what Anthony Padilla does from Smosh, or Jacob Hammer? Something Hammer does finance, where he picks apart people's budgets. There are ongoing series like that, but I think to get started, I wouldn't try that. Because I just can't think of
Next is 8 reps of chin up.
a series that I would want to keep doing over and over. Because we've talked about this. I'm so changeable. Sherlock quote. I would think of it as mini documentaries, and then just research a lot on one thing and make one video as good as I possibly can. The sugar video, the no added sugar video, I worked on for a month. I experienced it for a month, and then I wrote and edited it for a month. By far the longest I had worked on a video since then. And then the vegan for a month video I worked on even longer. Both videos did very well,
Looking good?
And just think about it like a documentary with the audience, with a general audience in mind. So, no inside baseball talk. Just
Next is 8 reps of dumbbell Romanian deadlift with 45 pounds.
do the research, have the experience, whatever the documentary is about. Learn as much about it. Become as much an expert in the thing you're doing as you can. And then think real hard and work really hard on how to convey that to everybody. Without, people who don't know anything about the topic or might not know that they care about it. Like, get them to care.
Start the next set.
And then explain in a way that everyone can understand. Both things. Getting them to care is tricky. The way I do it is try to answer why first. When I'm writing,
Up
the
next
thing
is 8 reps of chin up.
the thing I work on most when I'm writing and editing and shooting is the beginning, the intro. First half a page if I'm writing. Maybe first page, but then try to condense it down to half a page. Also try to be concise. That makes it easier to understand and explain and keep attention and keep people caring, is making things concise. The exact opposite of what this video is.
Start the next set.
Or these videos. Okay, now I'm getting excited about this. So I think the priorities when I'm writing and creating are explain why, make sure it's understandable to as many people as possible, and be concise. As concise as possible. I cut out lots of things when I'm editing and when I'm writing. I'll write and I'll rewrite. I spend so much time on the intro. I'll have like 4 or 5 different drafts of just like the intro of a video if I'm writing. I haven't been writing as much lately. It's been more conversational shooting.
Looking good?
But even when I'm just shooting it, I'll reshoot the intro and then I'll spend a lot of time re-editing the intro. First minute or two. Get that really good, and usually that involves
Up next is 8
explaining
reps of dumbbell Romanian deadlift with 45 pounds in each hand.
why. Explaining why. Why am I doing this? The sugar video, I keep bringing that up because it's by far my most successful video, and it is one that I worked the hardest on. And one of them, anyway, that I worked hardest. I think the one I actually worked the hardest on was the vegan one. But,
Start the next set.
the sugar video, the first 4 minutes, I forgot. I've gone back and re-looked at. I'm surprised even going back and looking at it. First, I think 4, maybe 5 minutes. It's just explanation. It's just why. It's all why. Like, I don't even get into the actual experiment of not doing added sugar until after like 4 or 5 minutes. There's a little bit of a preview at the beginning of what's going to happen, which is also a nice, neat trick to get people interested. But it's spend a ton of time just on the why. 4 or 5 minutes, which doesn't seem like a lot if we're talking about a full-length movie, but for a YouTube video, I think the video is like 10
Start the next
or
set.
12 minutes long. I spent so much time writing that and thinking about that. I had to explain what added sugar was. I had to explain why I wanted to reduce my added sugar, why I was doing this experiment, and I had to explain what the experiment was, like the rules,
Deadlift with 45 pounds in each hand.
which all couldn't be explained relatively quickly, but I spent a bunch of time on the 4 minutes of that, and that video did very well. Well, I think it's too easy to say and too simple to say, just get to the point very quickly Because that's not really what I did with that video. I mean, it is, kinda. I did get to the point, but the point was the why.
Start the next set.
Not the actual experiment. So I guess that's like mainly what I do when I start a video. It's why first. And if I can effectively convey the why, the video tends to do better.
Up next is 8 reps of chin-up.
Man, we're in 4 rep land these days. Doing these things 4 times. Okay. By the way, this is band assisted. I'm not like my rock band. Not like my whole band is here helping me. I'm not able to do this many pull-ups without the bands.
Start the next set.
That'll do. So if I were starting
Up next is 10 reps of dumbbell floor squeeze
from
press
0
with 45 pounds in each hand.
now, well, first, I don't think I'd do that good a job because I don't have that much experience. I wouldn't have had that much experience. I probably wouldn't know all these things. I wouldn't have all these policies in my head, like start with why. And there's a book, Start With Why, by Simon Sinek, which is more about businesses, but that was a huge inspiration for me.
Start the next set.
Because I was in Dare to Be Pointless land for so long on the main channel. It's like the opposite. Actually, like figure out why and then convey why.
Looking good?
But then you think about like a Mr. Beast video. Does he start with why? No, not really, but he doesn't have to because the why is implied. In a lot of ways, why is implied.
Up
Like
next is 8 reps of dumbbell goblet squat.
putting
with
added
45
sugar,
pounds.
it's not so implied. It's like, why would you do that? Sugar's awesome. Health reasons, I guess, but like, why? Is that really going to do anything? You know, there's a lot of
Start the next set.
reasons you need to explain why. But with like a Mr. Beast video, they're generally, the why is pretty obvious. It's a stunt. It's an entertaining stunt. Or it's a game. And games inherently have a why. To win. To accomplish the thing. Specific rules are there, and you're watching someone win. That's why sports are so popular. The why is just
Up next is 30 seconds of bodyweight squat hold.
inherent. The why is just right in front of you, always. Squat and hold. Okay, let's do it.
Start the next set.
So if you don't take the time explaining why, if you're picking a topic that you like, but it's not like a wide appeal topic, well, you're only going to draw the people
10 seconds left.
who also share that interest. And that's fine. But that's going to be harder to find them.
That's time. Up next is 10 reps of dumbbell floor
But if
squeeze
you
press with 45 pounds in each.
Figure out an effective way to explain why someone should care. And that goes for movies too. In general,
Start the next set.
wait, what am I doing? Oh yeah, okay. I don't enjoy a movie as much when I'm like, why? Why are they doing this? Not like, why are they making the movie, but why are the characters doing this? Why should I care? Movies that more effectively get you to understand what a character is going through and why they care helps you to care, to understand why you care. In general, that's my policy.
Up next is
And
8
in
reps
general, I
of
think
dumbbell
most
goblet squat with 45 pounds.
successful things have effectively given you a reason to care. A why. So,
Next set.
I guess that's my... And I'd write a book about it, but I already read the book about it. Start with why. These videos, I don't explain why. I guess I did at the beginning of this video. The why being a place for a free-flowing conversation. Not so attention-grabbing
30 seconds of body
as
weight
everywhere
squat.
else on the internet. A place for inspiration to work out along with me. But I don't effectively explain the why
Start the next set.
in these videos, in the title, in the thumbnail, or in the very beginning of the video. And I don't expect most people to care. But the ones that do, you're getting all this wisdom from me, these gems, right? Oh, don't poop, don't
10
poop,
seconds
don't
left.
poop. Okay, this is wearing out my legs a little bit. Whew.
That's time.
Gotta do a
Up next
third
is 10
time.
reps of dumbbell floor squeeze press
All right.
with 45 pounds in each hand.
And then this, the squats, and the squat hold. One more time. And then we're on to stretches. This is a particularly tiring workout. I think this is the same workout I did. So not yesterday's, but the video before that, which was a week ago. I think that was this workout. And I was like, I can't believe how sweaty I am. Kind of feeling it again. It's slightly different this time, but I think. But I don't put these workouts together. I have my trainer app, Copilot. So, I think when people are analyzing why things don't work, your own videos, your products, your movies, often I think
Up next is 8 reps of
Easy
dumbbell goblet
to
squat with
miss.
45 pounds.
what I think is most important is effectively conveying why.
Start the next set.
People complain a lot about the technical stuff, like CG, too much bad CG in movies, or some specific subject matter that people don't care about. And I think there's some truth to some of that, but there's examples of bad technical issues with a lot of things that are still very successful.
Up next is 30 seconds of body weight squat hold.
And it's the why. I think in the book, Start With Why, he talks a lot about Apple as a
Start
company,
the next set.
how Steve Jobs turned it around and effectively conveyed a very core why in the beginning. Say what you will about Apple now, I still think it's there. I still think they have their core fan base
10
and
seconds
audience
left.
and success because of this idea they have around themselves about why. And it's the whole...
That's time. Up next is 30
There's
seconds.
that
of
old
next
Steve
stretch.
Jobs video about... There's a couple things. There's this... about how making the first Macintosh, I think around that time,
Start the next set.
talking about bicycles and how they made travel easier for humans, and like how the computer is the bicycle for the brain. And that I think is a core internal Apple philosophy with the things they make. It's like a question they try to answer, like,
10 seconds left.
how is this a bicycle for the human brain? Like, how is this going to make life easier for as many people as possible. I'm not saying they succeed all the time.
That's
but
time. Up next is 30 seconds of pec stretch set.
I think that core philosophy is there, and they try to remind themselves of it. So that's why you need a mission statement as a company. But then there's the early ad campaign, Think Different, which was like
10 seconds later.
they're going to be the, I guess before disruptors was a thing, they're going to be the ones who do it differently, like differentiating themselves from like IBM or other computers at the time. That was their why. Like, we're going to be the change makers, I guess. Oh, I gotta take my shoes off for this. Think Different's not their slogan now. I don't know what is their slogan now. But having that core why, that mission statement, and conveying it, marketing it, I'm not saying it's good, what they do is good or bad, even though I do like a lot of things,
That's time.
a lot of their products.
Up next is 30 seconds
of Mac laptop.
Stretch. Left side.
But I totally understand
Start the next set.
their problems. Like, I do think, personally, I think they're quite dependable technically, but they cost more, and sometimes, often unnecessarily so, it seems. But you could talk all day about the problems of any company, but they can effectively convey their why in their marketing, in their design, in the functionality of their products.
That's time.
In a way that
This is 30 seconds. Right side.
they've gotten a lot of people to understand and buy into. I mean, sounds like a cult. And you know what? Like all marketing and companies and brand loyalty, they all are kind of cults. But that's a really good book. Start with why. It made me start to think about, like, what is my why? What am I making here, and why am I making it? Because my channel was failing at the time.
That's time.
Views were going
next
down.
Is 30 seconds of tricep stretch.
Not failing, but like decreasing. You never want to see
Start the next set.
decreasing. Does not feel good, and it decreased down to a point where I pulled out my resume. I was looking for another job because it was getting to the point where I was worried about paying the bills. And then I made the sugar video. But at the time, I was searching for that why. And it led me to what I do now, and it worked, I think. And I think more about why now, obviously, from what I've said so far. And
that's time. Up next is 30 seconds of tricep stretch. Right side.
I think I wrote down several whys, several reasons, and like, what is my purpose? What's my drive here? I still struggle with it sometimes. I'm always asking the question, why am I doing this? But now it's become more on an individual video basis. Like, what's this video for? Not necessarily what am I for, or what's this channel for. It's like, these days it's more, what's this video for? And the channel probably would be more successful if I could answer that question for the whole channel. And I kind of do have that answer, which is...
That's time. Nice job. Press submit to finish.
Which is, I'm just a regular idiot trying to figure out how to lead a healthy, happy life the rest of my life through experience. And like,
enjoy the rest of your day.
I'm an expert of nothing except video. I feel like I'm good at editing and shooting video. Now, I could be better at shooting if I tried harder. But as far as health and lifestyle and any of that, like I've been in a willful idiot most of my life, and it's sort of like a document of me trying to figure out how to improve that, and that's a long-winded why. Like, to concisely answer that why, like why do I make videos on my YouTube channel? I mean, there's honestly multiple reasons. It's fun. It it's what I've been doing and it's my career, so I better keep doing it. But like for like content reason, like the marketing aspect and the content, why these kind of videos? And I think it's because I think it, again, long-winded answer, but I think it would be useful to document my learning about the world and about myself. I think it's useful to document that so that others may learn. No, and I could write that down and figure out a more concise way to put it. I probably have in my notes at some point, but that's kind of it. And it's good to have that why, because if you can convey that properly, people will come along for the ride. But also, it's good for you creatively to know what to do next, or even. Doesn't have to be creatively, whatever career you're in. Having that as a guide. That's why I keep bringing that up in like a lot of videos, figuring out why. On the other hand, people have pointed out in the comments, and I've thought this, why can be demotivating. Like I made all those early videos on WheezyWaiter because I didn't have a why. Because I didn't think about the reason. It was just fun, and I just went with the energy of what I wanted to do at the time. And that can be more motivating than constantly trying to ask yourself why you're doing something. That can bring you down. So I wouldn't say it's 100% necessary. But if you're really struggling to find an audience that you want, or find a career that you really want, or find success in something, and it's not working, I think it's a useful question to ask. So anyway, that is all. I had no idea what I was going to talk about. As ever, just like with every one of these, I don't have any plan what I'm going to say. All right, here we go. But I think this video will be called something like, what I'd do if I were starting from zero today, or something like that. Okay. See, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good title. It's pretty good marketing. It's just been doing this so long, sometimes they come to me. Other times it's terrible, but whatever. Okay. Let's frame that TV for some reason. No, let's put more green in the background. Yeah. I don't like the TV like sticking out of my head though. So let's put it right there. Will that work? Thumbnail. Okay. Do you like that I take you along the ride for the thumbnail? Maybe I should get the full beard in the shot though. Good. Great. Thank you guys for being along on this ride. Okay. Bye.